These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another How About Them Celtics video. Sam and I are here recording on Thursday, December 21st. December 21st, excuse me.
It happens. It happens.
We're talking about Derrick White today. We spent the majority of last podcast talking about Derrick White, but it feels like Derrick White is now the hot new topic in the world of at least Celtics basketball at the very least. But that's because he is perhaps the most underrated player in the league. Before we actually get into the comments, because Derrick White did talk about the notion that, he should be an all-star. Joe Mazzulla saying he should be an all-star, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think it's gotten to the point where he is so talked about as underrated as that he is like properly rated, or do you think he is still at the point where like not enough people know about how good he is? You know what I'm saying?
I think we're approaching properly rated. I think that's a
Okay.
good question by you. What I thought you were going to say is he approaching like the level of everybody likes him where I have to hate him.
No, I don't think you can hate.
No, Derrick White's a pretty likable guy. He's humble.
Yeah.
He plays the right way. He's not annoying to watch. He doesn't foul bait. And his game is very honorable, to say the least. So to see him have the success he's been having over the last 10 games, plus not to mention the team playing well, with him being a primary scoring option at times, is a pretty big step for him. Like, this has been a year where Derrick White has, for sure, gotten better. And now you have people even mentioning him as a potential all-star, which going into the season, nobody would have been like, yeah, that guy.
I mean, you mentioned the All-Star thing. That's what we're really talking about here. So Joe Mazzulla, after the game, the Kings game where the Celtics stomped the Kings, I think it was Jared Weiss. Somebody asked him, about the potential of Derrick White being an all-star or the fact that he's been playing at an all-star level. And Joe Mazzulla goes, yeah, because he's an all-star, right? And everyone was like, oh, look at this. And then he was asked about it. And Derrick White said, I mean, he's my coach. That's what he's supposed to say, right? I'm just trying to win games. That's what I'm focusing on right now. I just do whatever I can. Just do whatever I can to help us win. Is doing so much more than that. Like, realistically, anybody who watches the Celtics understands how impactful Derrick White is. I remember seeing a video, and this is kind of a random tangent, but I think it is emblematic of just how well liked Derrick White is. And the context is, I'm pretty sure this was after he hit the Game 6 winner against the Heat. So like it was the peak of Derrick White, loving Derrick White. There was a meme page or like a TikTok page, and they went around Boston before Game 7, and they said, if you had to kiss any Celtics player, who would it be? And some of the girls were like Tatum, Pritchard, but every single guy in the video, Derrick White. Give me Derrick
Now
White.
that his head's bald, there's just more surface area for all of us to kiss him at the same time.
Everyone was all in on Derrick White. I mean, the impact stats of Derrick White this season, they've added, I said this on yesterday's video, they've added 2 all-stars. Everyone's had to take a step back. His points have gone up, his rebounds have gone up, his assists have gone up, his steals have gone up, his blocks have gone up, his puck plus minus has gone up, his win shares have gone up. Like everything, every year-over-year stat that means anything has improved for Derrick White. And I think it's not only a testament to how good he is, but how much this team trusts him to be good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Derrick White, again, is a shapeshifter. We saw it yesterday against the Kings where Tatum wasn't a part of the team. He was hurt. He was out. So Derrick White saw an increase in responsibility. Not even necessarily an increase in volume and shots, because over the last 10 games, he's averaged 13 field goal attempts a game. Last night he took 13, but he made 10 of them. Every single shot he took was a good shot. He was careful, confident. He was creative. He was able to get to the rim. He pulled off a nasty spin move right before the halftime buzzer, and he dished out 7 assists. But over the last 10 games in particular has been a big-time breakout for Derrick White. I think what's all kind of culminated in this all-star talk now. He leads the Celtics in plus minus. He is a +9 over the course of that span. Jaylen Brown is an 8.8, as is Hauser. Porzingis is a 7. Horford is an 8.5. Tatum's a 4.3. So, towards the top, that man, Derrick White, is quite literally the most, what did you say, impactful towards winning?
So, yeah, on the Celtics.
A little bit. He's also averaged 20 points on 53, 48, and 93 shooting splits. Very impressive efficiency. The man has done everything you could ask, and he brings on the defensive end, averaging 1.6 steals and 1.6 blocks per game over the last 10. If he's able to continue to play at this level, he's legitimately going to have an all-star shout. The team is going to largely benefit from it. They've been rolling already. There have been some growing pains, I think, with the new additions from the summer, but Derrick White has not been somebody that's faced that. Jaylen Brown has, and Jaylen Brown has found his footing, leading scorer over the last 10 with just under 25, and he's been relatively efficient, at least overall. 3-point, no. But Derrick White has been just as important as Jaylen.
Like I said, I truly think because the way obviously Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and probably even Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday you could say they are potentially better players, whatever, right? And that's fine. I just think the range of impacting winning versus impacting losing is so like there is no impacting losing with Derrick White because he rarely takes his game to that point. There's a couple, like he's had a couple rough games, like a lot of a rough shooting game, or he won't be scoring as much. Or I remember, I think it was the Hornets game where he had like 5 turnovers that was struggle. But like for the most part, if Derrick White doesn't have it, he just won't like look to score for himself. Like he'll pass the ball, he'll play defense, he'll move without the ball, he'll set screens.
He uses his head.
Like,
maybe.
He does everything else. He does everything else. Like if we talked about it before, Jaylen Brown has a rough night, the Celtics suffer because he continues to shoot. And that's fine because he's the star, right? And you give him that leeway. Same thing with Jason Tatum, same thing with Porzingis to some degree, and same thing with Drew Holiday, who's looked for a shot probably a bit more than some Celtics fan might want this season. But like with Derrick White, not only is he so willing to take the step back when he doesn't have it, there also aren't many nights where he doesn't have it because all of the shots he takes are within the flow of the offense. Like I truly think, and I'm going to write about Derrick White's all-star case tonight as we're recording this. I'm hoping it'll be out tomorrow at some point, or at the very latest, it'll be out Saturday. But I think this is a case where it's a Draymond Green and or Hawks, Al Horford, like the Hawks run. Like I think the Celtics are going to be good enough where you look at the team and you see Derrick White and you're like, yeah, he should probably be an all-star. Like, because the coaches vote for the reserves. And if there's anybody who knows just how impactful Derrick White is, it's the guys who have to deal with him every night. And I think it's getting to the point where in the grand, and it's been like this for the past few years, like defense is just kind of like, doesn't matter as much in all NBA and all stars and stuff. It's like, oh, stats, super cool buckets, right? Best stats, like
the TikTok clips.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think it's gotten away from that. Whereas X amount of years ago, like Draymond was an all-star because everyone knew the impact he had on the Warriors.
True.
2 years ago, Andrew Wiggins was an all-star starter because everyone knew how much he was impacting the Warriors.
That was wild. What a wild time that was.
Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action, NFL. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including you got spreads, you got your player props, you got over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
He probably shouldn't have been a starter, but the all-star, I think he deserved it.
Sure played like in the finals. Fuck's sake.
Al Horford made the all-star team on the Celtics, averaging 12, 7, and 5, because everyone knew that, like, yeah, this dude impacts winning. This is a good team, and he's the great player on that team. Like, the Hawks, like, they had 4 all-stars that year. Jeff Teague was an all-star because everyone knew, like, yeah, this team works really well together. Korver was an all-star. They deserve to be in the all-star game. Like, this Celtics team is so good that I think Derrick White deserves to get that nod. The question is, when you look at all-star voting, there can only be a max of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guards on the max of 6 guards on the roster because it's guard, front court, guard, same thing on the bench, and then two wild cards. So there can be a max of 6 Eastern Conference guards that make it. That's where it gets troublesome because I think we're on the same page, and I think most people who watch basketball. I mean, JJ Redick tweeted it last night. He said he's like, I need a public apology when I was saying Derrick White is closer to top 50. I think he's better than top 50. Like, I think people are people who watch the game are pretty in the consensus. Like, yeah, okay, Derrick White probably deserves at least a shout for All-Star. The problem comes when you have to pick which players get booted out because of him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to like go through and like say yes, but like briefly looking at the guys with the best cases and like you can make the arguments because obviously I know you're a big winning matters guy, but like these are the guys I've voted one, so like I'll remove
These
the ones
are your
I had,
votes?
but well, I voted for starters.
Mm.
For what it's worth, I voted Tatum, Embiid, Giannis, Halliburton, and I forget who was my other East guard starter.
Was it Dame or Maxey?
I don't remember. I think it was Brunson, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Lillard. I don't remember. It was Brunson. It's right here. It was Brunson. But so look at the guards. Trae Young has the stats. I would argue Derrick White should be an All-Star over Trae Young.
Somebody in the comments said that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think it's outrageous to say that. Atlanta's like 2-8 in their last 10. They just barely scraped past the Pistons. They're not having a ton of success with Trae Young as their guy.
Yep.
They made the playoffs last year. They played the Celtics, took 2 games off them. But Trae Young hasn't done a whole lot in the last couple of years. He's not a winning player too much.
I agree. The problem is on your screen right here, Halliburton, Lillard, Maxey, Brunson. 4 All-Stars, right? Like they kind of have to be. All of them deserve to be in the All-Star game this year.
Yes, I agree.
So that leaves 2 All-Star spots. Most would probably go Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell, and that's even without considering if Jaylen Brown's listed as front court, which is good. Luckily for Derrick White, there aren't many other guards you would consider. Maybe you'd go DeJounte Murray,
well,
Garland.
Mitchell's healthy. Darius Garland has not been healthy. He's probably going to lose out on it solely because of that.
Kobe White, but the Bulls haven't been good. And Derrick White's right down here, impacting winning, and they don't show defense here.
It sounds stupid, but also the layout of this definitely has some kind of impact on who gets in.
This is just starters though, for what it's worth. I think it's literally just by points per game is the way it's sorted.
I mean, that's fair. It is fair, but also it is fucked.
Yeah, I don't disagree. These are all the guards in the East. I think Lillard, Maxey, Brunson, Halliburton definitely get in. I think Mitchell probably has a good shout to get in as well. And then I think it'll come down to Trae Young or Derrick White or DeJounte Murray or Darius Garland or Cade. Like you'll have guys around there, around that same level as Derrick White who might get the recognition just because they're scoring more.
White might be a clear-cut 6th of all the guards. To be honest with you.
The only problem is
there's no guarantee.
Well, once you get down to the 6, you're also fighting against front court players because those last 2 of the 6 are wild cards. So you look at it that way, and there can be a max of. There's a definite 6 front court, so that's going to be Embiid, Giannis, Tatum, whatever past that. Like Jimmy probably gets in, Paolo, Scotty maybe, and then Derrick White's going to not only be Kristaps. Jalen. Derrick White's not only going to be fighting with Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young, but also like Franz Wagner, Kristaps and Jalen, maybe other guys down here who also like Tobias Harris, Bam Adebayo, Julius Randle. Like he'll be fighting with other guys in big markets who are front court players as well. So I think that's the difficulty of actually getting in the All-Star game. But if you look at an impact on winning, I said he impacts winning more than anybody on the Celtics, and it's evidenced by his plus minus. It's evidenced by his defensive impact. It's evidenced by his ability to step up, but also play a smaller role. Like Derrick White deserves to be an All-Star this year. I don't think he will end up being it, but I think if we get enough, or if people get enough buzz around it, he'll have a better chance. Maybe.
I think it's going to get to the point at least where people are like looking into it. They're like, why is everyone talking about this guy? What's he doing? Why is he generating so much buzz? And then they'll be like, oh shit, he had like 28 points in back-to-back games on the West Coast. Oh wow, he's averaging 20 points per game over his last 10 on 50-40-90. Almost 50-50-90. Like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And he's playing defense. Like there are legitimate cases for that. It's just really hard with the saturation of talented players around the NBA now. Like, this is another, like, when they expand the league, teams are going to be a little bit like, you're going to see more room for Derrick White to be a beast because you're going to see less stacked teams. It feels like almost all the teams have like multiple all-star caliber players now. Like, if you just go down the East, Celtics, you could say they literally have 5 if you really want to be like, look at us. Milwaukee has at least 2. Philly has 2. You can argue that the Knicks have 2. You can argue that
Magic,
Cleveland could have 2. Maybe
Magic.
Orlando has 2.
Miami, 2. Even like some of these bad teams, like the Hawks have 2 all-star caliber players. The Bulls probably have close to that. The Raptors have close to that. Well, that's about it down there. And then in the West, like Timberwolves, yes. Thunder, yes. Nuggets, yes. Clippers, yes. Kings, yes. Mavs, yes. Pelicans, Lakers, yes. Suns, yes. Warriors, probably.
Yes.
Rockets,
no.
Arguably.
They don't.
Sengun's one, but you struggle to find one past that.
No respect for Van Vliet on this podcast.
Jalen Green, though, I don't get your
Jalen Green's like shooting like 40% from the field.
I don't get your Van Vliet hate.
I just don't think he's very good.
Yeah, I don't get it. No, I think Derrick White deserves a chance to be in the All-Star game. He's clearly good enough. He's clearly impactful enough. I think it's just a matter of how the coaches vote at this point, because I do think he'll get on some of those starter ballots, though, just because Boston is going to be pushing his agenda, which is cool. It's fun.
I wonder if he's going to get like I'm excited to see the voting returns.
Yeah,
I want to see how like much on the Kool-Aid the whole country or world is with All-Star voting.
I hope so. Would be fun, but let us know what you think. Let us know what you think of Derrick White in the All-Star game. Make sure to comment, subscribe to How About Them Celtics. We appreciate it, and I'll let Sam take it out.
Hey, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. We have these type videos. We have game recaps, full-length pods, Talking C's with Bobby Kravitsky. We've got 30-minute before every game pregame streams. We're here. You can leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think about the Derrick White All-Star campaign. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple for the audio versions of any game recap or full-length pod. Follow us there. Leave a nice 5-star review. You can reach out to us via email, hbtcpod@gmail.com. If you want to find us on socials, it's at HowAboutMCs, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook is just the name of the podcast. The pregame streams are there as well as YouTube. You can follow Jack on Twitter at JackSimoneNBA. You can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac